my friend. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Willie Diefenbach-Jones, and I'm super excited to share with you today 3 ways to grow during these virtual times. During these virtual times, I've heard people say, hey, I can't wait till we go back to normal. Well, let me tell you, the old normal is never going to come back. I hate to disappoint you, but it's never going to come back. People have really grown accustomed to Zoom and doing things at home, and it's going to be a combination of some things are going to be live, some things are going to be virtual. And you have to figure out, how do I fit in and how can I grow during these virtual times? It's a different game. I was reading some articles this morning, and it talked about many business execs are canceling their lease space and moving employees home. And the reason they're doing that is, number one, what was because of the coronavirus, but now they're saving money. Employees are more productive. You have less wasted time because you don't walk around and sit at the coffee bar and chat or this or that, and you can bring people together in virtual meetings. And so they're not looking at going back full time anymore. And I think it's the same with networking events. I spoke this morning to somebody that is a leader in a big organization that runs networking events, and she said, I don't think we'll ever be back face to face like we used to. It'll be small little coffee groups, and the big meetings will be by Zoom. But guess what? You could be much more productive. I personally never thought I would like this work at home stuff, and maybe do a little bit of it, but not full time. Oh my goodness. But I've gotten used to it. And it's all about, what can I do to stay connected? So today, I want to share 3 tips with you. And the first tip is, in ways to grow, be the initiator. Initiate things. Lead something. Invite people to your events. And part of that is visibility. Be visible. Find some new things that you can join. And think about, can I help people? How can I help you? Outreach, reach out. And think about those people you haven't seen in a long time. This morning I talked to somebody, or I shouldn't say I texted with somebody I haven't talked to in quite some time. And you want to reach out and say, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? Because people want to feel connected. And let me tell you, that's a great thing. Remember, when you talk to people and you say, many times I hear this flip comment, how are you? Well, it's not how are you, it's how are you really? Because people want to share and they want to talk. But how many times have you just said, how are you? I'm fine. Well, you're really not fine. But when you ask deeper questions, it connects you more. And you want to be a connector. And what is a connector? It's about them. I always say we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that means we listen twice as much as we talk. When we ask questions about others, it makes them feel important. And people love to talk about themselves. Have you ever seen that? People can talk about themselves. And you want to think about, when you network, who do I identify with? You want to be intentional. So you want to be prepared. You want to look good. You want to think about, who am I going to meet at this networking event? Even if it's Zoom, who am I going to meet? And be intentional. And then be specific in your ask. And what I mean by specific in your ask is, don't say, hey, I just want to meet people that want to have a better life. Well, what the heck does that mean? Think about it like this. If I said to you, I want to meet Johnny Jones, I'm making the name up, you could go through your head and find that. And it's kind of like when you're scrolling through your phone. You're scrolling through, boom, right there that person is. You could make an introduction. If I say I want to meet everybody, you can't think of anybody. Counterintuitive, but be prepared and be very specific in your ask. And the third thing is, have a organization and a follow-up system. Follow-up is the most critical piece. And I'll tell you, and I've said this many, many times, your fortune is in your follow-up. So how do you do your follow-up? Your follow-up time should take about 3 times as long as attending the meeting. What? Yikes! When I heard that, I said, oh my gosh. But then when I started thinking about the follow-up system I use, and I'm going to share that with you, when I started thinking about it, it does take time. When you're at an event or you're talking to people, take notes. I was at an event this morning. I took notes on every person. And in the notes, I also made comments of who do I want to reconnect with versus maybe not. Who, and the question there is who really spoke to me. It's not that somebody was a bad person, but who really spoke to me, and who do you think I can impact, or who do I think I can impact? So you take notes, send a quick email response, and recap what you talked about. You know, that quick email is so powerful. And I can tell you so many people don't do it. Or they'll just send a quick note, great to meet you. Well, it was great to meet you and talk about this morning this guy I talked to. It was great to meet you, and it was great to hear about your events at the Woodlands, at the mall, and how you've transformed into something else. I mean, when you say something like that, people know you heard them. You want to connect on social media. And that can be Facebook, it can be LinkedIn, it can be somewhere else. It depends on what your market is. But it's a great way to stay connected and be remembered. Of course, ask for a physical address. Say, what is your mailing address? Don't say, what is your home address? Or don't say, what is your address? But what is your mailing address? Because you're going to stand out. When you send a card to somebody, they're going, oh my gosh, this person really cares. And guess what? If you make the card about them, they're likely to put it on their desk and keep it. And then think about, how can I keep people more engaged? And you can do surveys. Let me tell you, surveys, people love to give their opinions on things. And it's just so much fun. It's a great tip. You can do this in Google Forms and just ask surveys. And then pick up the phone and schedule an appointment or a Zoom meeting. I tend to much more do schedule Zoom meetings. Love Zoom. It's a great way to do things. And maybe invite them to a different virtual event. People like to think that they want to be included. And when you invite them, think about the law of reciprocity. What you give out comes back tenfold. And it's a great way to get people introduced to other people. And my last tip is be a connector. If they ask to be introduced to somebody and you know somebody, connect them. Or if you want to, or if you know somebody that might be a good fit for them, connect them and make a real introduction. Don't just say, oh, call my friend Susie, but make a real introduction as to why you think they go together. Hey, thank you so much for joining me today. Happy networking, and I look forward to hearing how you have grown your business and taken it to the next level. I'm super excited for you, and I look forward to chatting with you very soon. Bye for now.